Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay Netherlands number 3. So we left off having lost quite a bit of our territory, but we do still have cores on a bit of it. I tried to see if we can't get any new alliances, which will hopefully strengthen our position a little bit. However, it looks like we're just going to be stuck with France and Austria. Two really great allies, so it's not too bad. Now, we are ultimately going to want to retake all of our cores. However, we have truces with basically every country around us. And quite frankly, we really just first need to get our stability back to at least neutral and repay all of our loans, as we've taken quite a few of those. And our situation is just overall not that great. So we're going to take a quick little moment. We turn all of our forts off and just speed through the next bit, getting enough money to pay off our loans. Ultimately, though, we should be in a fairly good position once our loans are paid off and our stability is back to a reasonable amount, as we shouldn't really have that much of a coalition against us anymore, seeing as they took quite a lot from us. So the main thing we're going to have to worry about now is just not expanding so rapidly that we get a coalition we can't beat. It's alright that we get coalitions against us. That's almost certainly just going to be a thing we deal with in the future. But we don't have to have it be something as absurd as it was in the last episode, where it was nothing but constant coalition wars. So with that said, we increase our tech, we save up our money, and the coalition doesn't appear to be too upset at us. They are all truced with us, so they can't rejoin. When our truces with the coalition members end is when we're really going to see if we're in a safe spot or not. Although hopefully we are in a pretty safe spot at the moment. Now what we're going to do is start fabricating claims on Flanders to our southwest to hopefully get a direct line of access through to our French allies. And it appears as though they're in a war currently, so hopefully we'll be able to jump on that before they manage to end their war, in which case we'll be in a pretty good position. Now, if that's realistic or not, I'm not entirely sure, and the French have called us into a war which we are fighting, so they won't be able to join us in this war, although it shouldn't be too much of a concern. Hopefully the French will just end their war pretty quickly. We'll start building an army of our own, just in case we have to deal with this all ourselves. Ultimately, though, it looks like we're in a pretty okay spot. So we go ahead, we'll build a few more extra units just to be safe, and Austria will come, so that is very good. We declared war with one of their armies being forced to just march across our lands and then back, so that'll hopefully buy us all of the extra time we need. And unfortunately we lost the first battle, which is kind of disastrous, as the hope was that we would just be able to take out one army then wheel around to the next. Luckily, the Austrians and Hungarians are coming up to help us. We just join our army to theirs and win a battle, move forward, and just win the next battle. They have a little bit of a rebel problem, so we'll just hang off for a moment until we can get enough forces to actually fight that. And there we go, the Austrians have come in, so we'll move forward with that, defeat that rebel army, and then just lay siege to their provinces. So with that said, that war is basically all wrapped up now, which is really the type of war that I hope we can fight more of in the future. It got a little touch and go there in the beginning before the Austrians arrived, but that's why we have them as our ally. So we're just going to get money from Liège, as we really don't want to get too much aggressive expansion and get the coalition against us again. And that actually is an interesting point for what we're going to get from Flanders, as we could probably just annex them. We fabricated claims on all of their country, however it's something like 25 aggressive expansion, and that is just far too much. So we'll probably just take one province, split them in half, and just take all of the other benefits we can from them in the peace deal. It's a little bit less ambitious of a war goal, but it should also hopefully keep us out of the coalition's ire. So there we go, we do that, we can humiliate them, which is nice, it'll give us some power projection. And there we go, we've got one extra province, split their country in half. If we're lucky, maybe Brabant will become free. As you guys might have noticed, I did not look up how to pronounce that, hopefully I got it close. At any rate, we're in a alright spot. We're probably going to fabricate a casus belli on the country directly to our south, as we still do not directly connect to the French, and the French are still in a war, so we'll go send our army down to help them. And unfortunately, the enemy armies have come up and sieged one of our provinces, but it doesn't matter too much, we can just go back and fix that. Ultimately, we want to get the French out of their war, which we've managed to do, so that we can declare this war with the support of all of our allies. We'll just pay off this loan really quick and then do that. So with that all said and done, we declare war, all of our allies will support us. I actually moved my army back as I realized I don't really want to fight that. And we managed to win pretty out loud in the beginning. There is a province with a fort that is off, so we'll just go take that because there's really no reason not to. There's a very large stack of enemy forces, but hopefully our allies will come and support us, which they do, very thankfully. And now we move down to hopefully just destroy whatever bits of their army are left, which works really well. So just like that, we're in a very good position. We're back at war with Flanders, so we might be able to take a little bit extra from them, and then just call it all good. Plus, I have a new plan for getting the coalition to leave us alone. And that's basically that I'm going to give Austria as much land as possible in any of the peace deals that we make, in order to just sort of shift the focus and the blame and the ire of the coalition onto Austria instead of ourselves. So right now, a big group of countries just joined the coalition against us, so hopefully we'll just give Austria a couple provinces here and take a little bit of gold for ourselves. But just get just enough to make this peace deal work. I have a little bit of difficulty actually clicking it to the right amount of gold. And there we go. So hopefully by giving Austria those two provinces, it didn't actually do very much. But we can just keep doing that in the future. Also, those are two provinces right next to France, so hopefully they'll just not let the French have those, and it'll weaken the French in the long run. And okay, the coalition just declared war on us, which isn't great. We have all of our allied armies really nearby already, though, which is good. This battle does not appear to be going fantastic. Hopefully we can get a peace deal with these two countries we're fighting already, although it may not be the most likely thing, and that battle does appear to have been lost. So it's not really a great start to this coalition war, but it's just not. It could have gone much better. Even that second battle ends in our defeat. We're lucky they don't appear to want to kill our army in Flanders, but it also won't realistically be able to get home in any way. So what we can do is try to hook back up into Central Europe and hopefully meet the Austrians or Hungarians or really anybody there. They did kill our army in Flanders. We win a battle, however the follow-up battle is lost pretty decisively, which is not great whatsoever. However, we have a significant allied force in Central Europe, so we'll just go move with them through the hostile areas. Hopefully manage to win as many, at least minor battles as possible, which will ultimately build up to be enough to win us the war. At least that's the plan. We win one battle, and we tensely win the next battle. It doesn't appear as though we can actually get any allied armies to stick to us enough to go fight the coalition army up in the north. It looks as though there is an attempt being made, however it is a failure. we'll probably just stick to Central Europe, as that seems to be where the most small armies are, so we should hopefully get better luck with them there. We had the Hungarians following us for a moment, but they changed their mind. And ultimately, this isn't going so very terribly. It's not going well, I'll admit that much. But we can hopefully just sneak this army back over to the Allied lines, which we do. We managed to do that successfully. And now, as you can tell by Central Europe, this is going fairly well. Sure, we're losing most of our countryside, but that happens most of the time. As far as it goes, it's kind of par for the course. And we are winning the battles in Central Europe, which is really the determining factor for if we win or lose these coalition wars. We do lose another series of battles. Well, we actually win one of the battles up in the north. But we might be able to make peace fairly soon. I don't expect to get anything from this, but I will not, if I can do anything about it, I will not go back another step with this war. We do get our army sent over to France again, which is just a bit of a hassle. We could wipe peace with Luxembourg, so we'd go ahead and do that. And ultimately, the war isn't going that poorly. We've basically got the only armies in the field now, at least the only armies nearby that we can see, which is kind of the same thing. There is a rather significant stack in the south of our country, but we'll deal with that later. We can actually get a little bit out of this war, so we do manage to peace out. It isn't a great peace, but we didn't lose anything, didn't gain anything either. And realistically, that's just what we want out of a coalition war. It would have been better if we got something out of Flanders. But, once again, main goal right now is to hold our own, keep what we've got. We do still have all the cores necessary to form the Netherlands, so that is ultimately going to be our goal. Until then, it's just going to be a matter of defeating this coalition. Unfortunately, Austria pieces out right now, which kind of screws us over for this battle. We can, however, just get out with a concession of defeat, so we do that. And just like that, we're pretty much in the clear. We were able to hold off against the coalition. We get our techs up, so now we have technological parity with our military tech at the very least. And ultimately, while that wasn't ideal, we did gain one province, which probably was the thing that ensured those coalition members rejoin the coalition against us. However, if we had taken over all of Flanders, I imagine that enough countries would have joined the coalition that we could very well have lost that war. As it stood, we made a reasonable gain. The coalition fought us, but because we were reasonable in what we took, we only had to fight a smaller coalition that was small enough that we could actually beat it. So that's basically going to be the future then. We can probably take over all of the Netherlands, or all of the cores required for the Netherlands, fairly soon, since we have cores and won't have to worry about aggressive expansion. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.